Hello and welcome to a live stream. Hello Team Gert, love your channel. Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate that. How are you feeling today? What's going on in your life? Do you need to get anything off your chest? Please feel free to share your feelings. That's what it's all about, trying to find some inner peace through the struggle. So feel free to share your thoughts. My partner, I believe, is a straight up narcissist. Ended a relationship out of nowhere 1 week after my dog died on February 1st. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, that must have been a terrible period of time to have your dog die, and then 1 week later that happens out of nowhere. You must have been really struggling. I mean, how are you feeling right now? So we're probably like 6 weeks, 7 weeks later. How are you feeling right now on all of that? We went through stage 4 cancer. I beat it. We were engaged, adopted a dog, and now today he's blocked me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's incredibly challenging that you're going through. Are you feeling any positivity right now? Have you managed to grab hold of anything right now? 6 weeks, it's very early days. But anything you can do to feel a bit better, you know, is going to help you, of course. I'm lost because I want to still work. I truly love him. He says nothing about our 4 years matters. What did he say was the reason? I mean, I know you said it came out of nowhere, but presumably he must have said something at the time. When he told you that the relationship was over, what did he actually say? Zero. He won't talk to me. For me, I'm enrolled in CNA, new job. I mean, the good news is that you have a new job, because that is obviously a sign of new beginnings, something to really concentrate on. And he just said he wasn't happy. Okay, so that would probably suggest he was feeling that the polarity wasn't right within the relationship. That is normally what they mean when they say they're not happy. But there's obviously a lot more to it than that. But my first thoughts are, my first diagnosis, you might say, is that there was a polarity problem. Many breakups of he's not happy. January the 16th, he asked me to go to Florida, so it makes no sense. Now talking to his ex. So this is his ex before you, I'm guessing. So how do you know all of this if you are no longer interacting? How do you know he is talking to his ex? Mr. Nurum, hello Mr. Nurum. Did my message go through? No, it didn't, Mr. Nurum. And that is probably because you typed a word which is blocked. One of the biggest words which is blocked on this channel is WhatsApp. If you try to type WhatsApp, it will not come through. And if you're wondering why, because some people have asked me, it is because I have a lot of bots. Well, I don't even know if they're bots. They're just like spammers, scammers. And they try to type in my comments, and a lot of the time they type the word WhatsApp because they're basically trying to get you to WhatsApp their number. And goodness knows what they would do at that stage. But the main way I was able to try and stop that happening was I had to block the word WhatsApp. So anybody who types WhatsApp in my comments, your comment won't come through. Anybody who types WhatsApp in the stream, it won't come through because I've had to block the word. And not only the word WhatsApp, but literally all of the permutations. Any way you can think of typing WhatsApp, it's blocked. I had to literally get rid of every variant, because as soon as I would delete one variant, they would try another. Like literally 20, 30 different types of way of getting across the word WhatsApp. So change it to text. Maribel is here. Hello, Maribel. Hi all. Great to have you in here, Maribel. I hope Motivation Club is helping you. For those people wondering why Maribel's got this lovely little logo next to her name, it's because she is a member of Motivation Club. So Team Goethe said, sent a text saying, I love you, you'll always matter. I love you to death, but I don't think we'll work together. No two X's before me. Oh, no two X's before me. The last interaction was 7 weeks ago. Okay. And Mr. Nirma said, I just wanted to say that I've got a new girlfriend and she's 10 years older. But we are happy and in love and we want the same. And we are the same age when it comes to maturity. That's brilliant, Mr. Nirma. I'm really, really happy to hear that. That's really, really good. That's exciting. Exciting news. So this new girlfriend of yours is 10 years older. How are you finding that? Maribella said, not expecting any contact at all. Sad, but maybe it's the best after all. It's probably the best mindset to be in, because what it does mean is that if you ever receive contact, it will feel very exciting, very refreshing, and really, really out of the blue contact is often how it comes. But yeah, if you can get yourself in a mindset where you don't expect it, all the better. Team Goethe said, my therapist says my approach was healthy. Let's talk about it. Take into consideration cancer, COVID. He's in medical and said best I don't come to his apartment, stay safe. Many texts and calls. It sounds like there's a lot going on where there's probably not been the best communication, Team Goethe. That is a feeling I've got as well. It sounds like that there was things not being said within the relationship. Clearly your ex was thinking something that he didn't get across to you until he ended the relationship, and then he didn't really go into it either then. I did get into therapy at the breakup. It was too much. She says he's bipolar and narcissist. That eventually I won't care. May send him a card. Laugh out loud. I mean, my advice in most instances is if you've been dumped, never contact your ex again unless they contact you first. There are a few exceptions in different ways. I've got a podcast actually coming out soon in which I discuss that somewhat. I'm trying to upload at the moment every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. If you haven't seen yesterday's yet, please check it out. You know, you'll find it at the top of my latest videos. It's had an incredibly low amount of views in comparison to my other videos. It's really bizarre. You know, it's on topic, it's on point. It's not me going really off topic. So I'm a bit surprised it's had so few views in comparison to Wednesdays, for instance. So if you've not had a notification, which I know some people haven't, because I've had emails from people saying, I'm not getting notifications, what can I do? I've been told you have to ring the bell when you subscribe, but other than that, I don't really know what else you can do, other than literally checking my channel, physically checking it on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That is when I'm aiming to upload. So yeah, the latest video was yesterday. If you haven't seen it, haven't checked it out, please do. It will help. It will help with your breakup anxiety. I know most of you are struggling with that, so I would have thought that might be something that's helpful. So Mr. Nurem said it's a bit scary, but age is just a number, and as long as it's legal, we are the same. We want the same. And I mean, a feeling that really makes you feel both excited and scared is love. It sounds really, really positive, Mr. Nurem. How did you meet this new person. How did you find this new woman, Mr. Niram? My ex hasn't crossed my mind since I met her. I'm truly happy now with her. I love her, and this seems long term, so it's great. Well, this is great news. I'm really, really happy to hear this. Are you 18, Mr. Niram? I can't remember exactly how old you are. Are you 18? Where did you meet her? So Team Goethe said he lied and cheated first 6 months. I forgave him. So I'm waiting for the same chance given. And he says, you want me to say something I'm not willing to say. Who knows what the future holds? Games. I guess my question is, am I wrong to want the same chance as I gave him? To me, love fights for it, good or bad, good and bad. I understand what you're saying. Certainly, it would be very helpful if he would explain in more depth why he felt this wasn't working. But what I would say is that you deserve somebody who wants you. So, if your ex isn't currently feeling like they want you, and this goes to anybody, then there is somebody better for you out there. I mean, Mr. Niram never thought he would find somebody better than his ex. I don't think he'd mind me saying that. And he's just in here now saying how happy he is with who he's met. So I would say it's always good. If you are in a relationship, it's always good to be feeling like they have a lot of desire for you. Obviously, you don't really want to be fighting tooth and nail to just get a little bit of acknowledgement. Mr. Niram said, I'm 19. But I'm a bit more mature than my age says. So does my friend's family tell me. Well, we met at a friend's gathering before Corona. And yeah, wow. Okay, then that's cool. I wasn't sure if you was going to say online dating, to be honest. So that's really interesting. Met her by not thinking about my ex all the time. Improve myself, working on myself, make myself happy again, become me again. Really great news to hear, Mr. Niram. I'm really, really proud of you. I know how much of a struggle you went through. Probably been many months you've been coming into the streams, I would say. So Team Goethe said, I do have self-love. For me, it's the bond of cancer. Anyone who can walk after waiting in a room for 19 hours hoping I'd not die, now 2 years later gone like nothing mattered. That is very, very painful. And again, I'm so sorry that you've had to go through that. But like I said, you know, you deserve somebody who is excited by you, who is interested in you, who wants to be with you. And if for whatever reason your ex doesn't feel that way, then you deserve better than him. Wooter is here. Hello, Wooter. What's up, Vincent? Not a whole lot still. Still going through lockdown, obviously. But yeah, everything as good as it can be. How are you feeling, Wooter? Marabella said, now, my question is, if you are happy with this new woman, why are you joining a breakup live chat? I'm saying it because I don't expect any text from my ex, but secretly I hope I do. It's contradicting. That's very interesting, Maribel. Very interesting take on it. I'd be interested to hear Mr. Niram's response. About business. Hello, About Business. Welcome to the live stream. I know my ex wants me, but I believe he's waiting until my birthday next weekend to reach out. Wow, that is so strange. I've literally recorded a podcast today about that kind of thing. I actually suggest that dumpers don't send a message on a day like a birthday, because it can add pressure and it can be something which is confusing during an emotional day potentially. So I'm not saying your ex won't do that, but I mean, I don't think I would advise somebody to do that, because it does add pressure. I mean, you might be really cool with it, but I think most people, most dumpies, they might be having their birthday, they might be really just starting to focus on having a positive day. They hear from their ex and it turns their world upside down. Okay, they might get some positive feelings, but it also might confuse them, and it might maybe ruin the day. It'd be interesting to see. Miss Nirma said, it's been a year now, boss. A year since I talked to you for the first time, so I can safely tell people no matter how you feel or what the future brings for you, it will only get better than it feels now. Thank you, Mr. Norum. That's really, really good, for everybody else to see and to hear. Team Gert says, I'll do your no contact, but do you think it's worth it in this case if he wakes up and reaches out? I mean, in my belief, if somebody reaches out, then that shows that their interest level has risen, and therefore there is more chance of a more positive full-time connection, you might say. But additionally, no contact allows you to work on yourself and theoretically find somebody even better. And Mr. Norum said, thanks, I'll have to go. Just wanted to share the news. Good night, everyone, and good luck. Stay happy. Keep fighting. I'll talk to you later, boss. Thank you, Mr. Norum. So Mr. Norum was just in here, it seems, just to spread some positivity. Wooter said, I'm actually good. I decided to go into no contact again since my ex went distant after on her vacation. Oh, right, yes, to Africa, I believe. She's coming back tomorrow. Haven't spoke to her in 7 days now. Okay. I did actually think she might contact you throughout the holiday. I did actually think that. But then I thought when she came back, she might go distant. Sadly, it seems like she's gone distant even sooner. Mr. Norum said, I just saw Vincent here and was like, I haven't been here in a couple of months, so I wanted to come and tell my success story. I don't know, give some hope to you folks. Yeah, great. Thank you, Mr. Norum. Maybe your ex won't come back, but you will get happy. That's 100% sure. Just keep on fighting. I'll have to run talk to you later, guys. I mean, I can tell everybody Mr. Norum was going through a very hard time. Very hard time. So if you're going through a hard time right now, I can tell you Mr. Norum was going through a similar set of feelings, and now he does seem very happy, which is great. Wooter said, kind of scared she's moved on completely now. She won't have been able to move on completely because she's just been on holiday. So worst case scenario is she met somebody on holiday and she's coming back, in a few days, and she won't stay in touch with this person. It's a very, very long distance away. That's the worst case scenario. The likelihood is she hasn't met anybody on holiday. But even the worst case scenario, she won't have been able to build a connection which is long lasting. So I really wouldn't try to worry too much about that. Mr. Norum says, I'll have to run. Talk to you later, guys. Bye, Mr. Norum. About business, I said, it won't turn my world upside down. I'm okay mentally, so no matter what he does, I'll be fine. In case he does reach out, though, how should I respond? Just thanks and nothing more. It's quite a long-winded process, my theory on that. My suggestion is that I might be able to get the video link up, I'm not sure. My suggestion is that you search for my video, which I believe is called Get Your Ex Back Part 3. Because that includes my advice on how to text your ex back from that point. And the podcast goes on for like 30 minutes or something. It's the longest one I think I ever did. So that is what I would suggest you listen to. I believe it's called Get Your Ex Back Part 3. Team Kurt, what's your view on narcissist? Can they truly love? Every YouTube says no. They use and discard and move on to old or new supply. What I would say on that is that less than 1% of the population is a true narcissist. And there is a difference between narcissistic behaviour and being a true narcissist. So whether or not your ex really is an absolute true narcissist would only be able to be defined if they had like proper medical examination themselves, not on the basis of, for instance, you explaining it to somebody. They would have to be tested, you might say. So my gut feeling is that perhaps not a true narcissist, just because so few people really are, and probably they're just showing some narcissistic behaviour. You've got to remember that somebody who vanishes out of nowhere, it seems, is a lot more common than you think. A lot of dumpies explain the same story, and everybody thinks their ex is a narcissist when they're not. Mainly, it is down to a lack of polarity, which has caused a loss of romantic emotional attraction. Mr. Norum said, I thought Mr. Norum had gone. I thought Mr. Nurem had gone and yet he's still here. Maribel, best advice is to let go of a dream about them returning. Be open for what life brings you. Don't say no to an opportunity. Keep positive and you will have success in great ways. Good night, folks. Okay, I think he has gone now. Good night, Mr. Nurem. Maribel said, thank you. Team Gutter said, will you do a video on gay relationships? It seems to be more sexual. But just move on to my next and never look back. I did think about doing one specifically on that. I mean, however, my concept of sexual polarity is about masculine and feminine energy, which for me, it doesn't matter if it's a heterosexual relationship or a homosexual relationship. It's all about the polarity being in place. Now, you will find in most homosexual relationships that one person is more in their feminine and one person is more in their masculine. What would you say on that, Team Gert? Would you say that connects with your own experience? Would you say that you or your ex, one was more in their feminine and one was more in their masculine? Maribel has said, it is exactly what I'm trying to do and I think it's working. Well, that's wonderful. I'm really, really glad, Maribel, if that is the case. Mr. Nurem is still here, it seems. One last advice for you all. Life is essentially 24 hours. 24 hours and the day cycle repeats. The same story told over and over forever. All a person can ever offer the world is how they see those 24 hours and that's it. Don't ever forget to show how you see them. Never underestimate your vision of them. That was really quite poetic. And there is some powerful information within that. I think what he's basically saying is practice mindfulness. You've got to live in the moment. You've really got to experience the world as you see it right now. And the sun will always rise. You know, it will always rise after dark. About business, I said, do you touch on the situation specifically, like a dumper reaching out to say happy birthday? In that podcast I was mentioning, which I believe was called Get Your Ex Back Part 3, I don't think I actually say the words happy birthday, but it's theoretically the same. You know, somebody reaches out when the level of romantic emotional attraction has hit the necessary high point. It doesn't really matter if they say happy birthday or whether they say, oh, your favourite band is in town next week, or if they say, have you seen what's on TV, or if they say, how are you? It doesn't really matter in regards to, you know, them saying kind of like happy birthday. It's more about the interaction. And I tried to go through like all of the different permutations from all the different perspectives in that podcast. But in essence, you know, what I can say, I mean, obviously the reason why I can't go into it now, as I said, that podcast went on for 30 minutes and I'm trying to get through everybody's comments. So unfortunately I can't just stick on one comment, but in essence, the most basic thing I can say right now is that you certainly should reply. You know, if you want to get your ex back, or even if you don't, if you just want to be somebody who's pleasant, you know, you respond to somebody's message. So that is what I can say straight off the bat. Wootra said, yeah, that could be. She did have a crush on some guy last year and he was there this year too on that holiday. So I'm sure she tried that, but you're right, I shouldn't focus on what she did. The likelihood is that whatever you think happened probably didn't. You know, probably a lot less happened than you might fear. But whatever did happen is very unlikely to be long-lasting. About business, I said in that podcast you suggested to me, yeah, that's obviously what I've just touched on. I believe it was called Get Your Ex Back Part 3. That is the crucial one, because then, I think on my thumbnail I also included the words text your ex back, because that was a part of it. Wootra said, it is so weird. She was saying all these nice things to me at the start of a holiday and then she goes distant. I didn't really reply with the nice words back. Do you think that was a mistake? I mean, similar really to what I've been saying to about business. I mean, you might want to listen to that podcast I did called Get Your Ex Back Part 3, because I do certainly suggest you try to grow a conversation and be positive with it. So if you either don't respond, or if you respond negatively, or if you respond bluntly or without a question back, it's not really congruent with growing something. And sometimes an ex will be on the verge of messaging you and on the verge of not, and they don't know what to do, and in the end they go for it. And if they don't get anything back that they feel is positive, they might think, oh, that was a mistake, I shouldn't have done that. So you have to make sure you do. Mr. Nurum is still here, it seems. So Mr. Nurum has said, aha, I'm a very bad at leaving you, Vincent, but I will now. She just returned from her shower too. Hee, thanks for tonight. So, does that mean she's with you right now, Mr. Nurum? I'm guessing you're still here, really, so you can answer. Or is she somewhere else and just texting you she's out of the shower? We're all very curious. The Notorious is here. Hello, Notorious. I organised to go on a date at 11 AM yesterday, and by 5 PM my ex reached out for the first time in 4 months. Weird message, probably won't reply, but ha. Okay, so it sounds like you've got an indirect direct approach. If you have any interest in reconnecting with your ex, then you should reply. If you don't, then you don't have to reply. You still could. You've gone on a date yesterday. That is where you want to be focusing right now, seeing how that goes, seeing how that develops. But it doesn't seem like that it's really, really serious. It also doesn't seem like you really, really hate your ex. So just kind of play it by ear, really. But if you are wanting your ex back, then you certainly need to reply. It's very, you don't really get this magic. Sometimes dumpies think there's this magic moment where a dumper texts them and says, oh, I miss you so much. Please, let's get back together. It very, very, very rarely happens like that. It's mainly things such as an indirect direct approach. And with you saying a weird message, that certainly fits into that bracket. I'd be interested to know what they said, actually. Because there's some really random opening messages dumpers do. I'm actually going to include some in a course that I'm working on. I've been working on a course for a while now, a few months. It's a course where there are lessons that you read, lessons that you listen to, and then at the end of each chapter you have to do a test. You don't need to get all the questions right to move on or anything, but it's just to show that you're on track. And it's going to be tackling breakups from all angles. So it's going to be tackling breakups from trying to help you recover, from trying to get your ex back as a dumpy, from getting your ex back as a dumper, healing from a breakup, meeting somebody new, all of these things. And one of the parts I'm going to do is include message examples that dumpers typically send, examples which you can see, and then how to deal with them if you receive them. So that's what I'm working on right now. Team Gert said, I'd agree. I'm the empath and the fighter for love. He's more the sit at the bar and have a beer. He truly was awesome and is medically bipolar, but all the not happy and now talking to an ex. It must be very, very frustrating. But you will get through this. Whatever happens, everybody in here, you will get through this tough time. Marabella said, Notorious, is that not what you wanted? I believe that we're all here because we all want some type of contact from our ex. Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's not often in the fairy tale way. It's often the indirect direct approach. It's often something that doesn't sound like you would have imagined. Crazy things. Stuff like, oh, I was just wondering, did I leave my socks at your house? And you haven't heard from your ex in 4 months. Like, why would that be relevant, Or maybe you haven't heard from your ex in 6 months and then you get a text saying, oh, have you seen what's on TV tonight? As if nothing had ever happened. That kind of crazy stuff. About business, I said the jury's still out on whether I want to be a pleasant human. Kidding, of course, thanks. Team Goethe said his own mother says this ex 2 exes ago is a creep. It's like a replacement, so he doesn't have to be alone. If it wasn't for the ex, I think he'd be fighting for us. They were 7 years ago. If nothing else, it should give you the insight, but you never know when the story ends. You've just said your ex has contacted his previous ex from 7 years ago. 7 years ago. And they've got back together. So let's read between the lines there of what's possible. The Notorious has said, I'm sick of doing no contact on the same person. I'm going to find someone who doesn't have to learn from the hard way. I mean, if you want to meet somebody even better, you are absolutely capable of doing that. And if you improve yourself, you certainly will. So that is what can be achieved. Maribella said, I don't blame you, as I don't know what I would react if my ex ever reached out. It can be a very confusing moment. Wutra said, she just said she missed me and loves me, but she also thinks being single is doing her good to choose herself. And then she continued to tell me that she loves me, on which I didn't say it back. I did try to grow the conversation, stayed positive, and tried to set a date, of which she said I'll think about it. I just didn't want to be open to that, as I thought she was seeking validation. I get that, and you did everything right. You did absolutely everything right. You tried to arrange a date. She was vague, she was wishy-washy, and at that point, you just have to walk away from a conversation. I would suggest saying, like, you know, no worries, couple more messages, and then say, I'm a bit busy, I've got to go. Let me know if you would ever like to speak again. You know, get in contact if you ever like to chat again, and then go back into no contact. Maribel said, Vincent, can't wait to get you a new course. Oh, thank you, Maribel. That's really, really kind of you to say. It's taken so much effort. Like, I can't even describe how much effort it's taken. It's quite difficult to fit in. I've got my own schedule when I try to do podcasts and when I try to like do the comments and live streams, and then when I'm doing, say, the audio coaching, for instance, then trying to find the space to do the course, because it was something new that I didn't originally plan, is trying to like fit it into a schedule, and I'm trying to make it as good as it can be. In fact, if anybody has got anything they would really like in the course, this is probably a good time to mention it, and I could make a note. So if there was like a specific like topic or a specific lesson, as it's known, this is the time to mention it. I can make some notes. I'm hoping it will be released in May, but that will be dependent on if it's ready. I don't want to rush it. It will only be ready when it's ready. Team Goethe said, in short, while I want him back, the more I see his behaviour, the less I could care. But I try to remember the person I loved, that guy I want back, but will he be unhappy all over? I mean, that's something to remember. The person you want back currently doesn't exist, and there is no guarantee he will ever evolve back into that person. About business said, okay, I thought of another question. If he asks to meet up when he contacts me on my birthday, do I do it that weekend or put it off to a later date? If he asks to meet you, I would be honest and genuine with it. So if he asks to meet you on a certain day where you are busy, then say, unfortunately, I'm busy. But if you are free, then I would say, yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't cancel seeing my friends or my family or anything like that. If you've already got plans, stick with the plans. Team Goethe said, I do read between the lines that what has happened for him and his ex of 7 years ago, and I'm just gone. Hence why our time doesn't matter, or they will fail again, then reach out. All of those permutations are possible. I mean, if we knew a definitive way of what pattern took place, then we would always be in a fantastic position. Unfortunately, breakups and relationships, they're not really an exact science. It's more of like an art form, you might say. If you think of like an exact science, 1 + 1 is 2. You know, it's something where you can just follow a mathematical equation. Most people would be saying, just tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I will follow the advice and I will get my ex back. But unfortunately, it's not like that. It is like an art form. It's where you have to improve your chances, where you can kind of be expressive in different ways. There is not like a system. And that is what I think a few coaches suggest there is, and that is what I'm not happy about. There is no guarantee of getting your ex back. Nothing can be guaranteed. All we can do is put yourself in the best position. And when you're in the middle of a breakup, you're not thinking straight. You're not thinking as sensibly as you would ordinarily. Maribel said, it could be good to focus a bit more on helping us finding more value on ourselves, as I believe all dumpies feel not valuable after the breakup for a lot of reasons. I'm making a note of that, Maribel. Thank you very much. I'm just making a note of that now. That's really, really important to hear. So you're concerned about how unvaluable you feel right now. So how to grow value in yourself. Thank you for that, Maribel. Team Goethe said, I had said I'd be glad when COVID is done and we can have a beer. He said that's when it'll hit him. I don't want to do that with you. That's when I knew I had to end it. But then asked me to go to Florida. When things get as confusing as that, the best advice is to just try to draw a line under it from now. Okay? Try to get rid of all of the confusion, everything that doesn't seem that makes any sense. And just see as today is the first day of the rest of your life, and take things from here about how people behave. 5X is here. Hello, 5X. My ex took a handful of prescription pills last Sunday. She tried to end it. Someone found her and she's been under lock and key at the local hospital. Oh my gosh. That's horrendous. Do I break no contact? So the first thing to say is, look, if anybody is feeling in that level of negativity, if anybody's feeling depressed, if anybody's feeling in those ways, please remember these feelings are temporary. Okay, light will always follow darkness. Okay, you will get through this. You'll get through this bleak tunnel. You must speak with your friends and family. You must speak with your friends, family, and your local doctor. Okay, you can get help. You can get support. So please, please, please remember that this is temporary. Speak with a doctor. Speak with a counsellor. They can help you. So Wutra said, yes, that's what I did. I took the advice I learned. We talked a little bit more and then ended the conversation. She kept texting me random memes, but I didn't reply as I was busy. And again, you know, a meme is not really a question. It's debatable whether you could have said something back, but it's not really her growing a conversation. So 5X has now said, do I break no contact? So that is on the basis, presumably, of what your ex has done and is now in hospital. That is something that I can't give you advice on. And that is because this has hit a severity level where the only people who can make a decision on that is yourself and the people within the situation. You know, I would need to know every single second, every single element of this story to be able to give a full and proper answer. And I don't. And I can't comment on something as serious as this. I would suggest that you speak with your friends and family regarding what they believe and the whole situation regarding why your ex is in hospital and what the reasoning was behind it precisely. Obviously, we know some degree to it, but that is not something I would be willing, because whatever I say is based on so little information. I do not want to be responsible for your decision on this. So unfortunately, I can't give advice on that. It's got to be from the heart, from the mind, from the feelings of everything that's going on. So I would suggest speaking with your friends and family, maybe even the doctor at the hospital, and ask their advice, because it depends on your ex's mental health. There are so many things going on there, 5X. But I'm very, very sorry to hear about this story. It's very, very sad. But anybody going through the struggle, look, you will get through this. I promise you. Kaust, hello Kaust, has said, Maribel, it's embarrassing forever. What's embarrassing? CV is hello CV. Hi Vincent, it's been a while. I've skipped listening for 3 months now, as I may have moved on gradually. After all, she's married now, though I still see her as we became workmates 5 months post breakup. How are you feeling, CV? It's great to have you in here. How are you feeling right now? Maribel said, you're welcome and thank you for all your support and help to us. Thank you, Maribel. Thank you for your support and your kindness. Everybody who's in here, if you're new here, if you've been here a while, please remember to subscribe and to ring the bell for notifications. I've had a lot of people email me and ask me why I'm not uploading content, because they're not getting notifications. The truth is, I am uploading content. I'm uploading it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But it seems like YouTube has changed its algorithm. It seems that if you don't ring the bell for notifications, you won't get notified. And even if you do, it seems like some people still aren't. The best advice I can give is for you to literally click on my channel every Monday, Wednesday and Friday and find the content that way. For instance, I uploaded a podcast yesterday and it's had very few views, even though it's about breakup anxiety, which from all of the information I've gathered is something that a lot of you are struggling with. So I would have thought it'd be very beneficial. But it's had a lot less views than, well, than basically any of my videos. So part of me is thinking that some of you might not have even been notified. So if you are suffering from breakup anxiety, if you are struggling through your breakup, then that podcast is specifically designed for you. And I suggest that after this live stream, maybe click on my channel. It is the latest video. It was uploaded yesterday. It's had very few views, as I said. And it could help you. It could make the difference between you having a real struggling day or you being able just to relieve that anxiety for a moment and have a more productive day. So check it out if you get a chance, and please check back on the channel, because YouTube's algorithm seems to have quit reminding people somewhat about my uploads, it seems. Wootra said, damn, that's heavy, Keynes. I hope she'll be alright. Absolutely. You know, I echo that. Very, very scary. About Business has said, you could include more about ways to prevent moving too fast when you do reconnect. More suggestions on the communication and meetups. Great advice there. Great suggestions about Business. Let me make a note of that. Thank you for that idea. How to prevent moving too fast after reconnection. Thank you very much. Okay, CV has said, we are now 7 months broken up. She married 3 months post breakup, but became workmates then a month after her marriage. I got a new girlfriend 6 months post breakup, but I always tend to compare my GF now with my ex. And how do you feel that comparison? I mean, are you still thinking about your ex a lot, or how do you feel on that? Team Goethe said, that's my struggle. Yes, I called and text, bad me, but then I focused on me, school, work, new career, me time. Now I'm blocked. Thank you for your channel. It helped me so much. Got me therapy. Oh, wow. Thank you, Team Goethe. That's really, really kind of you to say. I'm glad that it's helped you. Notorious said, she messaged to thank me for sending a key back in time to cancel the appointment with a locksmith. Classic indirect direct approach. There's just no real reason for her to need to do that. if she, you know, if she really did not want to contact you, she didn't have to. Okay, somebody who does not want to speak with somebody does not send a thank you message to their ex for sending a key back, because that is something you would just expect. Cowster said, they say God doesn't give you more than you can handle. I highly disagree. It certainly can feel that way. Philip is here. Philip is an original who was in my first ever live stream in April last year. And Philip has said, I've met the love of my life. Oh, wow. Powerful, powerful stuff. I think I'm different to most coaches here online because I'm not focusing on trying to get your ex back necessarily. I want to guide you towards happiness. For me, it doesn't matter if you get your ex back or find somebody even better. As long as you find one of them, then that makes me happy. Philip joined my channel after going through a breakup. And at the time, he really wanted to get his ex back. But from what I can just read here, I've met the love of my life. It looks like we've got a success story, which is wonderful to hear. And it's success from the other angle. It's success from the angle of meeting somebody even better, which is similar to what we've already had. From CV, for instance, who said something similar. So this is brilliant. The Notorious has said, went on to tell me how amazing she was doing, and then wished me all the best, and she was extremely formal. Okay. It can be very confusing to try to dissect messages from your ex, especially in an initial kind of meeting of messages, you might say, because people can be very cold. They can be very, very frosty. Wooter said, well, thanks again for the great advice. Wish everybody the best here. Good night. Good night, Wooter. Thank you for joining us. I hope you feel a bit better. CV has said, I don't want my GF anymore, but I'm having a relapse after 7 months. I don't know if it seems like I want to be guaranteed she will regret her decision in the future. Now it's bad, but I do hope. I think it's natural to some degree of just hoping that somebody who has rejected us will then regret it. I think that's kind of natural. I wouldn't beat yourself up about that, but try to focus on the future, CV. You can have a wonderful, wonderful future. 5X has said, thanks, Vincent. I will talk to family and doctors. It's my pleasure. I'm sorry I couldn't give you specific advice, but it's very, very delicate what you have said, and I'm not in a position to really say anything of value there. I only want to add value. I don't want to just spout nonsense, and unfortunately, based on the little information I know, you know, and without me living this situation, it would be very much hit and hope advice in that regard. The Notorious said, I've always done no contact before. I even knew it was a thing, and every single one of my exes have come back. Oh, well, great. If everybody's wondering if it works, there you go. Other exes have come back since I've been single. I'm here to find out why. So, in essence, it would be the distance and the time often, because the romantic emotional attraction will be building and growing slowly in the background. The fuel will be rising. Just needs that ignition. And when it takes place, there you go. DV is here. Hello, DV. Ex broke up in July but maintained contact occasionally. In December, she attempted to connect but bailed after 2 weeks of initiation. Went back into no contact, and I finally feel I let go. What to do? Well, if you feel in a position where you have let go, I'm suggesting that means that you're no longer feeling the pain, then really focus on the future. Right now, the best advice is to use online dating to get to know new people. 5X said, I'm going to break no contact, but things have changed drastically. So, as I said, it's a very delicate situation. You've got to do what you believe is right in that scenario. Notorious has said 50% come back within 6 months, and the others came back after a few years. Record is 12 years. Oh my gosh. Okay, so once again, if anybody's wondering here what time frames we're looking at, I mean, we had Philip in here earlier. Philip has one of the longest no contact stories I've ever heard. 13 years, I always remember him saying. Notorious has just got another one here. 12 years. 12 years of no contact and a reach out. And then we have people getting worried when they haven't heard from their ex in 3 days. saying, is that too long? You never know when the story ends. You never, ever know. But that doesn't mean you should wait. You should not be waiting. You need to live your life. Okay, the next username is one I'm really struggling to pronounce. So I'm going to say P3. So P3 has said, almost 3 weeks of no contact. I noticed that she accidentally liked an old post of mine in Instagram. Is that an indication that it's working? Possibly. But it's not enough to respond to. There needs to be a proper interaction. It could have been a mistake, but it would suggest she was looking at your content at least. I would say it's a step in the right direction, but nothing to message about at the moment. 5X has said right now she's doing good. No visitors, no phone, no nothing. I get updates from a hospital. Yeah, probably best to speak with those people at the hospital about their advice there. DV has said she disappeared on the 2nd of January or so after she said, I pushed, but then called twice at the end of the month. Very confusing. So she was feeling overwhelmed. So there was a little bit too much, I don't know if we would say the word desire. There was a bit too much trying to grow into the situation maybe from you. But then presumably you then stopped, and then she's called twice at the end of the month. So there's definitely something in there still, which is very positive. Lady Shante say, hello Lady Shante. Hi Vincent, hi everyone. Great to have you in here, Lady Shante. Another original. How are you today? CV said, Vincent, do you think exes lose the feeling of wanting to reach out when the dumpy starts to reveal on social media the new relationship? No, not at all. I would say, if anything, it's going to grow their curiosity and maybe some low-level jealousy. Maybe even high-level jealousy. Don't be afraid to do that. Although, do it for the right reasons. Don't do it to try to just kind of get your ex's interest. If you're in a relationship with somebody else, they need your respect on this. CJ said, hello CJ. CJ said, hi. Moving forward and letting go has been really hard for me. I keep crying over the pain I caused him and the pain he caused me. Accepting it is hard. It really, really is, CJ. You might also be another candidate of what I'm suggesting people do after they've listened to this live stream. Please check the latest podcast I've uploaded. It is to help you with breakup anxiety. So many people are going through the grind, and yet so many people, so few people shall I say, have seen this podcast. It's the latest one I uploaded yesterday. From what you've just said there, I really think it could help you. So I suggest you click on my channel, look at the latest video and check it out after the stream. Kyra said, my ex hasn't reached out in 2 months now. I'm starting to give up hope. He has so much pride, I think he will never reach out. See, I'm not a big believer in an ex being too proud or too arrogant or too stubborn to reach out. I believe in human nature, and eventually, when the romantic emotional attraction is high enough, they will behave in a way which goes against their normal persona. The Notorious has said she might be checking to see if you've deleted a photo of your Instagram and accidentally liked a photo. Very, very possible. Very possible indeed. Paul. Hi, Paul. Paul has said, hi, Vincent. What did you think about my ex's last message to me on lockdown? Now 2.5 months no contact. I sent you an email on Friday. Thanks for your words of advice. Yeah, I respond. Did you get my response, Paul? So I've not checked my emails this weekend, but I have responded to you. I sent you a reply in which I said my thoughts. I mean, I can share them live in front of everybody if you want, but I did send you an email back. So I hope you got it. I'm happy to share it in front of everybody if you want, but you might not want me to. So just let me know if you got my reply. Because I did email you back, I think it was like yesterday night. But I haven't checked my emails today, so I don't know if you've got it. CV has said, thank you, Vincent. It's nice hearing back from you. Good night. Thank you, CV. Good night to you as well. Kyra said, thank you. Well, thank you for being part of the live stream. Sheena has said, just over 5 months now, getting there, I think. Sheena, you're doing wonderful. Keep going. Keep walking through that tunnel of despair, and you will get out the other side. Lady Shanto said, Vincent, I'm doing well. Hope you are too. I don't want my ex back, but I do wonder if he regrets any of his actions. Each day gets better and better. I'm glad you're feeling better and better. He will have to look himself in the eye at some point and acknowledge the behaviour he showcased was awful. He was a very, very bad person, all of the stuff he did to you. I would really try not to worry about him anymore. He was a bad person. He treated you with disrespect, and you're better off without him. I do think he will regret his actions, but that is neither here nor there, you might say, because the important thing is your own journey. Paula said, that's fine, you can, and I did, but I'm still confused by her. Okay, so basically in response to your email, Paul, what I was saying, just trying to think back exactly as I worded it, from everything I know of your story, I've never seen any indication of romantic interest. All I've ever seen is some kind of platonic interest of maybe trying to want to be friends still, or just basically zero interest. Like very one-wordy responses, then just ignoring you. All of those kind of things. Being very wishy-washy in trying to agree to a certain date to meet. So maybe on one hand saying, yeah, we'll meet, and then just not doing it. Just doesn't feel like somebody who's interested in you, sadly. So those last messages, the last message she sent you of any real interest was when she was kind of saying, oh no, another lockdown. And I believe that was because it was announced, it was a shock, it was quite scary for people. And I think she just wanted to get it off her chest. I think she just wanted to contact somebody. You and her had been speaking, I believe, about her birthday. And it probably just came natural for her just to carry that on. But further from that, she quickly went to one-word answers and then just ignored you. So, for me, there isn't much confusion. Because sadly, for me, it's loud and clear. And this isn't meant to sound harsh. And as I said, you know, I didn't know if you wanted me to say this in the chat, but you said I could. But she's just not interested in you, Paul. You know, I can't lie. I don't want to get people's hopes up. I have to be a realist. She's just showing no interest in you. So for me, it's not confusing. Maybe the only confusing thing would be is that she did suggest that you could meet up as friends at some point, and now that seems to have gone as well. But that would not have helped you. You would not have enjoyed that in the long run, certainly. But the thing is, Paul, let's look at positive things. Let's be positive. The world is starting to open up again, especially here in the UK. So there is every chance you can have a wonderful summer of going out, interacting with new people, spending time with your friends and things. You will find happiness, Paul. You will find happiness. That goes for everybody. I know you've gone through the self-improvement. I remember everything you told me in the past. You're a better person now than you was before. You will attract lots of people. You will find people better than your ex. It's time to take her off that pedestal, Paul. It's time to take her off that pedestal. She doesn't deserve to be on there. But we have to be real here. And unfortunately, in all of the messages you've shown me, and there's been quite a few over the past few months, I've never seen anything that made me think, okay, you know, there's a clue. I'm really sad to say, and I'm really sorry to say, I just think it's clear as day that this woman is not interested in you. And it is time to fully focus on your exciting journey forward. Because you can have an exciting life, you can meet somebody wonderful, that goes for everybody in here. But it would take a big turnaround in your ex's mindset for you to reconnect. And look, it's possible. Anything's possible. But it would take her to contact you with some genuine interest and feeling. So my advice to you, Paul, keep speaking with your friends and family. If you feel depressed, please speak with a doctor. You will get through this. You will get through this hard time. This pain does not last forever. You will get through this tunnel. But I can't lie to you and say I think that she's interested in you, because unfortunately I've not seen anything which makes me think she's interested in you romantically. Sheena has said, bless you, thanks. Well, thank you, Sheena. Thank you for being a part of this. Kyra said, does the grief phase of the dumper only last a few days, moments, or can it also take longer? And does every dumper grieve, or does it depend on the person? Wow, that's a lot of questions. I'm trying to obviously get through all the comments. Probably my best advice for you, Kyra, at this point is I've done a lot of like mini-series where I explain the perspectives of, for instance, say, the dumpy and the dumper and their own journeys. And I'm just trying to think, did I do a series called, was it called Dumper Journey? I'm just trying to check myself. Just bear with me one moment. I want to make sure I tell you the right podcast. Okay, it probably wasn't called Dumper Journey. Here's the easiest way actually. If you go onto my channel, click my playlists, there is a playlist about the dumper. I think it's called Dumper Experience or something. If you click that and listen through, it will answer all of those questions. Because I go really in depth on these things. You know, the phases people go through, it's not always one fit. It's not always like a one size fits all concept. It's dependent on their experience and what they go through and what happens. So I would say, Kyra, my best advice is to probably click on my dumper playlist, listen to it from the top. The first 3 podcasts on there are part 1, part 2 and part 3, and that will really dive deep into that. But basically it lasts different times for different people. There isn't something we can just pigeonhole. Sheena said, I must say all I really wanted was a bigger explanation, but I don't think I'm ever going to get that, so I need to concentrate on my future. Concentrating on your future is great. That is the key to happiness, and that is what will get you through. Kyra said, Paul, you'll get through this. Absolutely, Paul. I mean, I'm not sure if you're still in here, Paul. And I hope you can take the positives out of what I said, because it wasn't meant to be negative. But I was cautious of that, which is why I wasn't sure if you wanted me to speak in the group. But you said you didn't mind. But in essence, your happiness, Paul, certainly in this short term, is likely to be found by making new connections. If your ex contacts you in the future, then we can deal with that at the time. But right now, let's focus on the positives. The positive is the UK is opening up. The positives are that the summer is likely going to be a time where you can meet new people and really experience a positive life with friends, family, and hopefully a new romantic connection. So there's everything to be excited about. Kyra said, okay, thank you, I'll watch it. Thank you, Kyra. Yeah, if you click on my channel, go on my playlists, click on the one that says, I think it says Dumper Experience. It's the first 3 of that playlist in particular. CJ said, how can I finally let go of my ex? What's that final step I have to take? The final step is it has to be within you, and you don't have the power to do that on your own. It has to be your own subconscious, you might say. It has to be from within, and when it's ready, when it's time, it will just happen naturally. Sheena said, oh boy, it's a real roller coaster, up and down. Never was really into fairgrounds. It can feel like you're on a waltzer. Stephen has said, hello Vincent, great to hear from you. Thank you, thanking myself then. Thank you, Stephen, even. Thank you very much for joining me in today's live stream. Hope you're well. Vawan is here. Hello, Vawan. I had a date with a girl. My ex saw it, then posted a cleavage pic, which she would never do before. It's 3 months into no contact. Okay. I mean, it's not impossible that that's related. It might not be. We can't really draw a complete assumption from that, although it's possible. But concentrate on the date with a new girl. You know, you've been on a date. That should be the exciting thing right now. If your ex wants to contact you, then she will. And we will then know for certain, rather than just this cleavage pic. Okay, everybody, it's been a wonderful live stream today. Thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go now. Thank you for everybody who's been a part of my channel. Remember, as I said, YouTube's algorithm seems to be really playing up at the moment. Doesn't seem to be notifying everybody of my content. And therefore, I would highly suggest you actually click on my channel on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. That is where, and that is when I upload new content. So if you're not getting notified, please check it out. My latest upload was yesterday. It's about how to prevent and how to stop breakup anxiety. I think most of you are really struggling with the anxiety right now. So I do suggest, after this has ended right now, click on my channel, look at the latest upload on my videos, and you will see what I'm talking about. It's about preventing and stopping breakup anxiety. It will help you. If you're struggling right now, it will help you get to sleep. If you're struggling to get through your day, it will help you be more productive. Please give it a listen. Not many people have listened so far, but those who have given it good reviews. So hopefully it will help you as well. The one has said, all these videos say 90 days. After 90 days, you have a slim chance and note to reach out. The one, that's nonsense. Don't believe in that. Do not believe in the 90-day no contact rule. It is nonsense. Maribel said thank you. Stephen said thank you. Thank you to everybody here. Let's support Vincent and share and subscribe. Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate that. About said well wishes to everybody. Kyra said thank you for your advice to us. I really appreciate all of your kind words, everybody. I really do, genuinely. Sheena said looking forward to things opening up. Thank you so much. Thanks back to you as well. It's been wonderful speaking. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you and good night.